Look, 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 look. What a great look. A super dessert made with just 3 ingredients, and it turns out this good. And also, at the end, I'll show you another different version. What an awesome video we have today. And today we have a Dulce de Leche cake that's made with just 3 ingredients. Look at this, what a wonder I have here. An amazing dessert, just look at that incredible cut. Can you believe it's made with just 3 ingredients? It's delicious, and it doesn't even need an oven? Well, what else can I tell you? If you like dulce de leche, cajeta, manjar, call it whatever you want. If you like it, this is gonna blow your mind. It could be your favorite dessert. If you haven't tried dulce de leche, you're missing out. Watch the video and you'll see that this is amazing. Let's go for it. To make this amazing treat, we're gonna use 3 things. On one hand, elongated cookies like sponge fingers or lady fingers. 2 packs are enough, although we could use another type of cookie as well, no problem. Also 400 milliliters, or 2 cups, of cream, whipping, chantilly, heavy, or similar, and 400 grams, 2 cups, of dulce de leche. Also known as cajeta, manjar, and other names. This is for a 24x9 cm mold. And let's get to the recipe, which is really simple. On one hand, we put the cream, heavy cream, whipping cream, or chantilly, whatever you call it, in a large bowl. The key is that it's very cold, and it's even better if the bowl and beaters are cold too. You need to give it a few turns, beat it for a while until this forms, what they call whipped cream. So when you see grooves and the texture is uniform and already thick, we stop because it's ready. Next, beat the dulce de leche as well. No problem, we can use the same beaters without cleaning them or anything, just directly. We're going to beat it for a little while, a few minutes, with a couple of them. That's enough for it to get some texture, color, and loosen up a bit. See, that's perfect like this. What we'll do now is set aside about 3 or 4 big tablespoons of this whipped cream because we're gonna use it for decoration at the end, and the rest. We're going to mix the rest, so we add it to the large bowl where we have the whipped cream. The dulce de leche, cajeta, manjaro, what do you call it? In it goes, there we go. The point is to add everything and mix it. At first, we're just gonna combine it with a spoon or a spatula. We're going to give it a few turns, some folding movements, and in just about a minute. This gets mixed together, and you get a more or less uniform liquid with a smooth light brown color. See, I've got it now. Once you've got it mixed, beat it again. Use the same beaters and give it another go. That way it'll come together completely and with a little more water. Give it a few turns and you've got it. There's no need to overdo it here, so with a minute or 2 at most, you'll get this texture. See? A kind of grooves are formed. With this, perfect. For today's recipe, it's just right. Al pelo. Alright, the cream is ready. Now let's move on to assembling. I'm using this cool removable mold I have. If you don't have one, that's fine. This type of cake mold works as well. Line it with plastic wrap or parchment paper, then flip it over to unmold. It's that easy. Well, and another important thing is the cookies. In my case, I'm going to use the ones that in my hometown are called bizcochos. In other places, they're called vainillas. They're long and crunchy. And if you want the cake to be soft instead of crunchy, you can soak them in milk in a mixture of cream with water or just in water. It doesn't matter. The goal is for them to absorb moisture so they're soft when we use the spoon later. But I'm telling you, if you want it crunchy, just leave it without soaking and that's it. This 3-ingredient recipe is so simple, there's barely any trick to it. The only one is the one I'm telling you here. What do you want, a crunchy cake? Leave the cookies just as they are. 3 ingredients. If you want it to be soft, really tender, so that when you pass the spoon it breaks without any effort, then you have to soak the ladyfingers or cookies. How? You can use water, dilute cream with water, or add it directly to milk. It's your choice. But there are 2 options, crunchy or soft. I've already started assembling it. As you can see, it's very easy. We place enough cookies on the bottom to cover the mold. In this case, I'm only going to use 6 ladyfingers because that's enough to cover the entire base of my mold. Once the 6 ladyfingers are in place, which I soaked because I want a soft cake, I add about 5 tablespoons of this whipped cream and dulce de leche mixture on top. Look how amazing this looks. I can assure you I'm holding myself back from eating this by the spoonful. I really want to, but once it's assembled, it'll taste even better. With the same spoon, using the bottom part, you spread the mixture. Well, the cream. This one we've made with dulce de leche, so we get a more or less even layer that covers the whole mold. See? Like this? Perfect? We take out the spoon, set it aside, and start making layers again, as many as needed to fill our mold. So, another 6 of these little sponge cakes, freshly soaked, and 5 more tablespoons of this dulce de leche mixed with whipped cream. We smooth it out there, perfect, with the same spoon and add another layer. In this case, I have enough for 3 full layers. A taller mold may give you more layers, a shorter one may require less. You'll see that as you assemble it. Another 5 tablespoons and I have it smooth and perfect. Now we're gonna give it a decorative touch with that whipped cream we set aside at the beginning. Do you remember? The one that was still white? We spread it out a bit and smooth it with another spoon. In this case, it has to be a different one so the colors don't mix. Always spread with the bottom of the spoon and cover the entire surface. And this dessert is ready. We're going to leave it in the fridge. And while this is setting, I'll tell you another little trick. And with this same mixture, you can make some amazing individual cups. Look, we take cookies just like before, either dipped or crunchy. In this case, I'm gonna leave them as they are, crunchy just like that. I put some pieces at the bottom of the utensil we're using, in this case this container, this little cup, and we fill it with the cream. It's that easy. Look, with a spoon, we just add it until the cup is completely full, and in the end, the same thing. We have an individual dessert, and if you tap it a few times, the gaps get filled, and it looks perfect with this amazing appearance. Let's also put it in the fridge so it sets, and here I have it, both versions of the same dessert going in. Here goes. Both need to be in the fridge for at least 4 hours so they dry out a bit and the flavors really come together. After that time, or if you can wait until the next day, even better, your dessert is ready. Alright, I'll take them outside to decorate. For decorating, only use the same 3 ingredients. First, unmold it. A knife or a small smooth one is even better. Run it along the edge and make sure the finish is smooth and even. Remove the mold and it's perfect. There we have it. One and the other side over here off as well. Then we take a spatula. If you don't have one, that's okay. A pastry spatula works. The back of a knife, anything that's smooth, because you use it to smooth the surface, giving it a much more professional finish in no time. See, sometimes things get better with just a little bit of work. Then I heated up some dulce de leche. I did it in the microwave, but you can heat it however you want just so it becomes liquid. And with it, we decorate the surface. It's as easy as just dropping little drizzles with a teaspoon like this in an anarchic way. And you can see how this goes from looking good to looking absolutely amazing. And now, the most important thing, it's always the same as with people. The most important thing is on the inside. So here we go. Look, 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 look. Look at that cut, how soft it is. What a wonder. You can clearly see the little sponge cakes and the amount of dulce de leche cream we have. For the individual ones, it's the same. We can add some dulce de leche on top. You could also add caramel, like I did, but that's not essential. And come on, let's make it look a bit nicer with a piece of the same little cake we put at the bottom. One over here and another one on this other little glass. What a good looking, cute, and delicious dessert we've made in no time to get a super cake like this. Look at that texture. Oh my, who wants to dig this little spoon in here? I think more than one person does. It looks amazing. A dessert we've made easily, simply with just a few ingredients, and that all of us can make at home. If you have guests over one day, you bring out this dessert and they'll be totally amazed. Look, 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 look. It looks amazing. My mouth is watering just seeing it again. Whether you make it in an individual cup like this or as a cake, I'm sure you'll enjoy it either way. And now comes the best moment of the video, at least for me. Look, 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 look. What kind of reaction do I have here? So delicious, it looks amazing, and I'm gonna tell you what it feels like when you enjoy it. Look, the spoon is so soft, I'm telling you, if you want it crunchy with dry lady fingers, it turns out crunchy. In my case, it's soft. Look, wow, here we go. It's amazing. It's amazing how many nuances and delicious flavors you can get from just 3 ingredients. Fresh texture. You get the punch from the cookie. You get the punch from the Dulce de Leche. All creamy. It's wonderful. Make this cake when you have guests and you'll blow their minds. Hey, I have a quick question. Let's see, hey? I always read that it's called Dulce de Leche, but I've been told that in other countries you call it cajeta or manjar. I'm convinced you call it something different in every corner. Tell me down here in the comments, like a survey, what do you call it in your region? That way I can learn a bit. I'm sure there are a lot of names, and out of all of them, let's see which one wins. While you think and write, check out this marvel. What an amazing look and great video. Or click here if you haven't done it yet to subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, it's free. Turn on the bell and notifications. This way, you'll get notified every Wednesday and Saturday about our new delicious treat. And below, my Savory Recipes channel.